we are still at the foot of Mount Sinai. We've been parked there for a while, It's been weeks that Moses has climbed up the mountain and he's in, deep state of meditation, sitting at the top of the mountain. He's going to stay there for 40 days and 40 nights, and he's so deeply connected to the universe, tapped into the vibration of the One, that he is getting all kinds of spiritual practice, commandments, rituals downloaded, into his being. I just imagine this beam of light just enveloping him and the divine flowing through him. We convey that in Torah as God talking. But the way God talks is through vibrations, through light. So here is Moses, and Moses is receiving the instructions for building the tabernacle and the functioning of the tabernacle. And as we open the Torah this week, we find that the instructions of the divine are to order the Israelites, the people at the foot of the mountain, to bring pure virgin olive oil in order to kindle the 7-branch menorah. We have a little version of it here. The magnificent, gigantic 7-branch menorah, which will adorn eventually the tabernacle as we travel through the desert for 40 years. But also ultimately will find its place in its final, well, not final, because it ended up in the Vatican eventually, but within the temple in Jerusalem, near the Mishkan, the Holy of Holies, the tent of meeting. And all of us are invited to bring our olive oil to kindle the Ner Tamid, the eternal light of the 7-branch menorah. And that light will be brought in to the tent of meeting. I've been thinking, we've been doing this for so long. I mean, obviously we've done this through the 1,000 years that there was off and on a temple in Jerusalem. But it's a practice that we've continued through the last 2,000 years, wherever we have found ourselves. Not only in our synagogue, kindling the Ner Tamid atop the Ark of the Torah, as we do here every Shabbat that we meet, the eternal flame. And our eternal flame is actually built in the shape of a flame as well, suspended in mid-air. But we also do that every time we kindle the Shabbat candles in our homes. And especially I was reflecting that we do this at Bet Alef every Friday night that we gather here, inviting the Israelites, the members of our community, to step up and bring their olive oil and kindle the Shabbat candles of the 7-branch menorah. Every single one of us bringing their energy, their intention, whatever it is that we are celebrating, honoring, when I say the names, also saying what it is that each person on the bima up there is lighting for. What is the energy they're bringing to this Shabbat? And then I turn to you, as I did tonight, and ask you, what is the olive oil you are bringing on this Shabbat? What is the light you are seeking to kindle in your life? And that comes from this Torah portion. And the truth of the matter is, it's not just on Shabbat that we get to do that. Actually, it's a teaching that is applicable in our everyday life. day by day, moment to moment, we bring to wherever we find ourselves our olive oil. We bring our olive oil to work. We bring our olive oil home. We bring our olive oil everywhere we go. We bring the essence of who we are in that moment. Our energies, wherever we appear to find ourselves. We can't not do that. But the Torah is telling us to be extremely mindful of what kind of energy we are kindling wherever we are. And we know, whether we care to admit it or not, that oftentimes the olive oil we bring is not that pure. There's a lot of particles in it. You know, the particles that have fallen into our olive oil since the moment we got up in the morning, and we got upset because of this, and we shouldn't have read the newspapers, and that conversation didn't go well, and there was really too much traffic today, and all that gets dumped into our olive oil, so that wherever we show up like this. And our olive oil is really kind of tainted. And you know what happens when you you put a wick into that kind of olive oil and light the candles? A lot of little dark flames start to pop up. And that's what happens when we meet each other. We bring all that energy that we have accumulated since the day started. And that's how people experience who we are. So we have to recognize that there is a lot of, what was the word that I found? Dregs. I didn't know that word. Dregs into our olive oil. There just is. The process of spiritual practice is to filter as much as we can the dregs out of the olive oil. And we do that in 3 ways, which is really what these verses in the Torah are telling us to do. First of all, we acknowledge there are a lot of dregs in our olive oil. Because if we don't say, yes, it is, and we remain in denial, forget about it. It's just not going to happen. We're never going to get any clear, pure oil to bring to the menorah. It's never going to happen. We're just going to get an olive oil that is more and more cluttered. So one is, there is a lot of clutter in my olive oil. There's a lot of dregs. Amen. 2 is kavanah. 2 is intentionality. 2 is deciding for ourselves that we're going to do whatever it takes to take out the dregs. 3 is, well, you have to bring a filter. All the will in the world will not help unless you bring the filter to filter the oil through it. And the filter is two words: awareness and equanimity. Awareness and equanimity. With whatever arises within ourselves, whatever emotion, whatever sensation, whatever thought, we remain fully aware and fully equanimous to the moment. We do not let whatever is disturb the peace of our oil. We do not let anything float in. Aware and equanimous, moment to moment. Everything arises, aware, equanimous. Equanimous means I do not react. See how the ego is built? The ego is built on action, reaction. Craving, aversion. Aversion, craving, action, reaction. Our ego is the reactive part of self. And if you break the pattern of reactivity, you begin the process of disidentifying from that reactive ego that comes to dominate our experience. aware and equanimous. That's the filter. And that's exactly what the Torah is telling us to do. To bring the oil in order to kindle the light. And to bring that light into the tent of meeting. To bring that light in, that inner light, to bring that light into the inner tent of meeting. To shed light to the darkest corner of ourselves. Light is the light of awareness. And we can enter into those spaces, recognizing the sacredness of any and every encounter, the sacredness of every and any space we find ourselves to be. That is the Mishkan. The Mishkan is not a traveling tent in the desert. It is right here, right now. It is you, it is me, it is this space. It is every moment of our life. Sacred space, sacred time. We can only see it, though, if we bring the light of our 7-branched menorah and have kindled it with pure, filtered oil. It's a beautiful image that the Torah uses. Beautiful image. The way we practice it, just to give you an example, at the Bet Alef office. At the Bet Alef office, we have a meeting, a 2-hour-long meeting once a week, staff meeting. And what we do at first is we go around the table to check in. How are you doing today? Who are you being today? How was your weekend? How was your week? Who do you show up as right now? And it gives each of us in turn an opportunity to just speak whatever is present for us, whatever emotion is there, whatever we are wrestling with, whatever we are celebrating, whatever we are joyful for, whatever is in our life, whatever is moving. And that's really healing because we get to speak it out loud. We don't keep it bundled up inside. We make it real and we let it go by putting it out there on the table. And what that does as we go around is that it also allows the others to receive us, to hear us, to know where we stand right now and hold each other in compassion and understanding. And it's not like what I'm saying, every time we meet, we're really thinking about it. It just happens. We don't plan it, but it's what happens. We create a tent of meeting, a sacred space for each other, where dialogue is welcomed and possible, and even if when we disagree with love. And that's a simple example of how we bring these teachings into our life. Now, the tent of meeting at a deeper level is a really beautiful space in spirituality. I think actually the Hebrew does a disservice. The translation, the English, as always, does a disservice to the Hebrew because the Hebrew is so much more multifaceted. There's so much more nuance in the Hebrew. And I was looking for a better word to translate tent of meeting that would reflect what the essence of that word, moed, which is translated as meeting usually, would be. And I had a hard time finding an English word, but French was really good. Ohel moed is not the tent of meeting so much, is the tent of rendezvous. But you hear rendezvous? Rendezvous has a sense of a little bit of a secret meeting with the beloved. Right? It has a sense of a secret meeting between lovers. In English, I eventually found that, going circuitous through the French, and I found the word tryst. T-R-Y-S-T. The tent of tryst. And that tent is within us. Because we have a rendezvous with love within ourselves. We have a rendezvous with a great lover. And we are invited to step into the tent of tryst the same way Isaac stepped into the tent of Rebekah, to enter into an intimate union with the one. And I've read some passages, and I might read another piece of Songs that speaks exactly to that. But it's all over Kabbalah. The Kabbalist literature is replete with erotic poetry and sensual sayings. And the divine is the beautiful maiden, the divine feminine. She is voluptuous, and her hair is always long, and her lips are incredible, and her breasts are so full, and on and on. We have Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, the hymn, the Kabbalist hymn that starts Shabbat. Towards you I run, my beloved, Likrat Kala, towards the bride. Because Shabbat is seen as a marriage between us and the queen, between us and the bride, the divine feminine. It's all sensuous, voluptuous. It really is the tent of tryst. Listen to this. I was just walking to the tent of tryst, and I'm just reading this. You have captured my heart. Did I read that already? I read that already. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. Actually, this is what we find on the ketubah, on the wedding license. Anile dodi v'dodi li. I am my beloved, and his desire is for me. Come, my beloved, let us go into the open. Let us lodge among the china shrubs. Let us go early to the vineyards. Let us see if the vine has flowered, if its blossoms have opened, if the pomegranates are in bloom. There I will give my love to you. The mandrakes yield their fragrance. At our doors, all our choice fruits, both freshly picked and long stored, have I kept, my beloved, for you.